Hey guys, what is going on? This is Travis and welcome back to Coffee, Computers, and More. And we are in the 2024 Honda Passport Trailsport. I just want to do a really quick video for you here and talk about the top 5 things that I love about this vehicle so far and the top 5 things that I'm just not really such a big fan of. So we're just going to go right into it. You might agree with me on these things. You might disagree with me on these things. That's fine. If you own this vehicle, maybe chime in and let me know. How do you feel about my list? So for number 1, the J-Series V6 3.5 liter, 280 horsepower, 260 foot-pound of torque engine in this thing is money. It is magic. I absolutely love it. It's quick. It is smooth. It makes a really cool noise when you're revving it up and driving it. It builds power well. Never really feels like it's straining. And I've had 4 full-size adults in this thing with all of our stuff, and you wouldn't even know it, okay? So the engine is awesome. It's going on something like 30 years of production at this point. So the V6 engine, very cool. I know they're going to be changing it out for a different series in the 2025 Passport Trailsport, or the Passports. There's a rumor about that. They've already done it in the pilot, so I'd imagine it's going to carry over into this model in 2025. But again, the engine's awesome. Number 2, the all-wheel drive system is great. The IVTM4 system will get you through the majority of the driving conditions you're going to encounter in just regular civilized North America every day, right? So snow, rain, ice, sleet. I've driven through all that so far. Gravel, some mud, not had a problem at all. The system just takes care of what it needs to do. It can send up to 70% of the engine power to the back 2 tires, and from that, it can send 100% of that 70% to either wheel that it needs to get you out of whatever situation that you're in. So the all-wheel drive system will serve you well. Understand it does have limitations. You're not going to go to Moab with it. You're probably not going to crawl up a mountain with it. In fact, it's probably going to overheat in the process, but just know the limitations of the all-wheel drive system, and I think you'll be happy in just everyday driving. Not a problem. Number 3, suspension and tires. The Trailsport has a revised suspension that has 15%, I think, softer rates in the front and 10% softer spring rates in the rear, or valve rates, and then also a solid anti-sway bar in the rear. So what that does is gives you a much more plush, much more cushy ride. Doesn't feel as sporty as the Black Edition with the 20-inch wheels on it. And it just gives you a nice, comfortable ride that tackles a lot of different pavement types and can handle a lot of different terrain without bumping you and throwing you all over the place. Very, very comfortable ride. So you get that suspension if you buy the Trailsport package, so it does have a revised suspension on it. Oh, the tires, the General Grabber AT Sport tires are awesome. They don't hum or make a lot of noise when you're up to speed. In fact, they just make kind of like a white noise when you're on the highway. It's actually quite comfortable. You can have normal conversations and they don't boom into the cockpit or anything like that. So I do like the tires. It's nice having an actual all-terrain tire on the vehicle, and that's going to definitely help you get through some nasty terrain should you encounter it. Now, they're not just the best tire in the world, but they are definitely great for factory tires. Number 4 is passenger space. You've got cargo space that basically rivals a Grand Cherokee or a Ford Explorer. Four full-size adults easily fit in this thing. We've done it. Everybody was at least 5'10". Nobody complained about legroom. No seats had to be moved at all. You've got seats that recline and slide in the back, which is really cool for even more space. And passenger space is great. You got like 6 cup holders in the rear, 2 cup holders in the front, a bunch of cubbies all over the place, so everybody can put their stuff in places where they need it. Honda definitely thought this one through. I do like it. I wish it did have like cup holders in the door for like bottles and water bottles or refillables, like a hydro flask. Doesn't have it, but that's okay. That's okay. There's other boxes and places I can put stuff if I need to. So, but passenger space in general, absolutely fantastic. I haven't tried 3 adults in the back seat. I don't think it'd be impossible. You got a pretty spacious back seat going on back here. Number 5 is going to be cargo and storage space. So when you put the back seats down in this thing, it is just cavernous. You've got cargo and storage space that basically rivals a Grand Cherokee or an Explorer. I know that Honda kind of calculates cargo space a little bit differently. They take every little nook and cranny into consideration, but you're still going to be on par with the competition. And I think you can get 4 giant Pullman cases in the back of this thing. You can stack them side by side on top of each other without the back seats down, and you're going to have no trouble hauling that stuff around. And there's little compartments and nooks and crannies all over the place. You've got a generous console right here. You can set a bowling ball in if you want to. I got a cargo tray in the top of mine, and check out my video on that. And it keeps things nice and organized. So there is no lack of space for people to put their things. There's no lack of space for people. And that makes my top 5 things that I love. Now, top 5 things that I dislike. I'm not going to say hate, because these are things I can live with. but these are things you want to take into consideration if you buy this vehicle. So number one is going to be the push button shifter. All right. So in the 1980s and 90s, growing up as a kid playing video games, I could memorize like every combo of button necessary for fighting games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, right? I was awesome at those things. But do you think I could memorize where the buttons are for park, reverse, neutral, and drive in a vehicle I drive daily? Absolutely not. So I do have to look down like every single time that I switch gears. I just haven't got used to the tactile layout of the buttons yet. Part of me has hit the wrong buttons a couple times and like went forward when I meant to go back and went back when I meant to go forward. I know, okay, boomer, right? But I'm getting used to it, so it's taking some time. But it's just, I really miss having just a standard shifter. And I know it cleans things up. It frees up some space. It looks nice and sleek, but user friendliness for me is just not quite there. I'm sure I'll get used to it as time goes on. And again, I've only driven the vehicle for 1,100 miles. Item number two that I dislike about the vehicle is the fit and finish. I mentioned this before. The fit and finish on this, no offense to the people in the Lincoln, Alabama plant that put this thing together, but it kind of rivals like a 1980s snap type model kit. I've got some panels that just like aren't flush. I've got a rear hatch that's off about 1/4 inch. The trim is pretty good, but just like there's little rubber seals and stuff just kind of sticking out all over the place. And I went up to the dealership and looked at the other 2024 Passport Trailsports, and it's not just unique to my vehicle. There was vehicles that had the same kind of issues as mine, hatches that were off, A-pillar trim that just isn't flush, molding popping off the sides and stuff. So I think it's just kind of an inherent issue you have to get used to if you're going to be a modern Honda owner. Now, I know people are going to say, well, that's Honda. Don't expect BMW, Mercedes quality. I've had two prior Hondas and neither one of them had these issues. I had a Hyundai Kona that had amazing fit and finish and it was half the price of this vehicle. So I know automotive industry can do it, right? Again, if we can land satellite and people on other planets and moons and stuff, I'm sure we can make panels fit properly on a passenger vehicle. Anyway, enough of my complaining about that. Number three, hard seats and pressure points. So the seats are very supportive. They're not super plushy or cushy like a Cadillac. These are supportive seats. They're very upright. And there's a couple of pressure points like in the rear, the butt area, that's taken some time for me to get used to. And everybody's butt is different. And because of that, your butt may vary and your experience may vary. But I've just kind of found that it takes a little bit of getting used to the seats. I'm kind of still breaking them in. And they're not 100% comfortable. They're very tolerable. They're fine. They don't hurt my back or anything like that. But just the rear pressure is taking some getting used to. But anyway, we'll see how that goes as time goes on. Number four, Trail Sporty. Not quite. So let's talk about what this thing is lacking if you really want to take this thing off-road. You don't have a trail cam. You don't have any kind of a front camera. There's no 360 cameras to navigate you. You have an all-wheel drive system that if you press it too hard in slick conditions where it's sitting there spinning all the wheels, it will overheat the all-wheel drive system. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just the design of the vehicle. Whereas the new Honda Pilot, the 2025s, have a different revised system that can handle more extreme use. This really can't. Now, in everyday driving, daily driving through snow, through rain, through ice, I don't think you're really going to notice it. It should not have any problems. But if you're trying to go up a super slick hill and you're sitting there spinning all four tires, or you're trying to do some rock crawling and you're not getting traction, it only takes like 15 or 20 seconds to overheat the all-wheel drive system, and it's going to let you know. Have I done that yet? No, and I'm not expecting anything to happen, but I've seen it a couple times in some videos on YouTube. Now, granted, my Hyundai Kona would do that also. There's other vehicles that have that problem. It's just inherent to the design of the all-wheel drive. So it's not necessarily like just a Honda thing, okay? Oh, and also there's no skid plates really on this thing. There's like one plate that protects a certain part of it, but there's nothing protecting the engine and transmission. So I have some Nolo, I think is what it is, Nolo Designs. I got a front skid plate to put on mine, and that's going to protect the front. But it would have been nice if that stuff would have been on there, like, again, like they're putting on the 2025 Pilot. Now, why didn't I just go buy a brand new Pilot? Why didn't I want to spend another $5,000 to $7,000? And those parts are things I can add myself if I want to be honest with you. So kind of that lack of just all-wheel drive readiness on something called Trailsport. Yeah, I mean, it's more of a soft roader than anything, but again, I knew that going into the equation. All right, guys, and speaking of overheating, my camera actually overheated, which is why we're filming it in a different location at a different time right now. So the last thing I have for you is the lack of a towing package that's included with the vehicle. And again, you know, the Pilot comes with that towing package if you get the Trailsport model. It's an extra $1,000 to add a factory towing package to this vehicle. That's going to give you 3,500 pounds of towing ability. It's also going to give you the wiring harness and factory coverage for the parts. Now, that's 3,500 pounds. If you want to do the full 5,000 pounds of towing, you have to add the factory transmission cooler, which is another $1,000. So tack another $2,000 onto the vehicle in order to be able to tow 5,000 pounds. So just keep that in mind, that that's something you're looking at for an extra added expense. So the vehicle is roughly $46,000, more or less, I think, before I added the towing package to it. No, it was 45 before I added the towing package. So if you're looking at 46, 47, and you're only $3,000 away, say, from a Trailsport Pilot, you might want to consider going that route. I've seen a few Passports that have the hitch on them already included from the dealership when you buy them, but it was an extra add-on accessory and you had to pay for it. So anyway, that's just it. Those are kind of the pros and cons of the vehicle. So tell me what you think. What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it? I do feel like Honda kindly has everything sorted out in the 2024 model. The transmission is well sorted. The powertrain is solid. It's a quiet vehicle. It's comfortable. Gas mileage has been so-so. I mean, I didn't complain about the gas mileage because you see the numbers when you buy the vehicle. So if you complain about it, that's on you. It is 24 on the highway, and I want to say 19 or 18, I think, in town, and then mixed driving is 21. I'm nowhere near that because I just do short trips to work and back, and that's pretty much it. But the mileage is increasing as the temperature is going up. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This is Travis. This is Coffee, Computers, and More, and this is my list of 5 things that I love and 5 things that I dislike about the 2024 Honda Passport Trailsport. Okay, am I going to keep the vehicle? Absolutely. I have no reason to get rid of it. It's comfortable. It's got plenty of power. It's exactly what I want for my needs, and maybe it'll work for you guys too. So make sure you guys mash that bell, like and subscribe, check out every video. I'll put links and playlists, links to at the end of this video for my other Passport videos. You can check them out. But in the meantime, guys, I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.